Welcome to the 10-Day Growth Hacking Challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. Today, we are here with Victoria, who is growth hacking a very unique space, which is in the mental health space in a very unique time. Before we get started, this challenge is based on the Growth Thinking Methodology book. If you want to do what we're doing here, this is your guide on how to do that. Victoria, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Nader. How about you?
I'm doing well. We're here on hack number 2. Before we move to hack number 2, tell us if there's been any results with hack number 1 before we move on to hack number 2.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I decided to dig a bit deeper, and then as we discussed like previous episodes, so the main aim was to digitalize the diagnostic tools. So actually, I did that, and then used the same like in the email, so then we're able to track people whether they like or not like this.
Awesome. So you finished the PDF, right? You've got the tool in place. I remember you had a large list of stuff, and now you're testing the diagnostic list. And then you started the second hack, which we're going to get into, which is your email and digitalizing. So that's awesome. Tell us about hack number 2, and then I think you've got some things to show us, which is really awesome. So guys, hang in there, huh? Hang in there. She's got some cool stuff coming. Tell us about hack number 2. And you had a bit of a shift in what you're doing, which is awesome. This happens all the time. So for those tuning in, flexibility is key in making this process work. So tell us what happened in hack number 2, what you did.
Yeah, so hack number 2 was take all the diagnostic tools, make them digital, and actually placing them in the email newsletter we send to our customers. So we send them every week, and seeing like how many people actually would be able to click on that and whether it's interesting or not for them. So now, as I said before, we had 27 different diagnostic tools, but we decided to start from anxiety, because anxiety, like everyone now feel a bit anxious. And yeah, it was great. So in the beginning, instead of PDF, so we have PDF. So then we digitalized using Typeform. So it's more interactive approach, and then asking them to leave phone number.
Awesome. So that's awesome. And one thing I want to point out for those of you tuning in, Victoria's done a very good job in taking complexity out of the process. And we discussed this obviously a few times, because the depth of the information she has is very deep, and for us to go execute 27 of them at once would be disastrous. We wouldn't get very far because it's just too much. What she's done is she's focused on the most important one, which is anxiety, and we never want to replicate mistake when we scale. So ultimately, paper prototyping, like we talked about in the last video, and just digging in deep into getting that one example as good as possible, and shifting the second and third, and then eventually just fanning it out so we can scale. So that is awesome. The other thing that I really like what you've done is you've not also made it as a PDF, but you've actually digitalized it and turned it into a digital experience connected to the email. Do you mind sharing? I mean, a bit of show and tell will will take us a long way, because you've done an awesome job doing it. So if you want, go ahead. Let's see this in action.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Yeah. So actually, this is how the digital PDF looks like, anxiety disorder checklist. So here is basically psychological signs, physical signs, and behavioral signs. And here we ask people to download the app, call to action. And at the same time, we decided to use more interactive approach. So this is like Typeform. It's very easy to set up. And here is like a quiz. So then people can actually click on that. It's the same. But the experience is a bit different. And as well, here we can use more branding. And then the end of the day, we ask them to leave their phone number or email, depending, because this one was set out to our newsletter subscribers. But then we can use the same form in other distribution channels and change it to email if we don't have it, for example.
So also one of the benefits here is you're enriching your data. So since you already have the email, asking for email twice doesn't make sense, but enriching your data with phone numbers. So you've got phone number and email is an excellent opportunity, especially when it comes to some growth hacks related to Facebook advertising and Google advertising, where if you actually have phone numbers and emails, and you put it into, I can't remember the name of the audiences that are created there, but those are the cheapest form of advertising when it's actually people you actually know and own as data. And they're your own custom audience. Anyways, I won't go into that. That's a different hack, but you are enriching your data by doing this, and that helps a lot in the future. Keep going.
Yeah, so that's it. So this is like digitalizing the whole experience. And then like what we did, so actually we send a newsletter, and usually we provide some kind of like images, then call to action, download the app itself, providing value to user, like to anything interesting, what's happening in mental health space and different care tips and stuff like that. And in the end, we put this call to action, try science-backed anxiety quiz.
Excellent. So when did you send this out, and what does the data for this email look like so far?
So we sent it yesterday around 6 p.m. So it's less than 24 hours. And actually now it's 20% open rate. So it's quite high. So
excellent. So this is a good signal. Guys, remember, we always talk about signals versus results. This is an excellent example of a signal. 20% open rate is very high. Industry average, if I recall, is about 8.5%. So it's definitely much higher. It's a potent audience. It's important to keep nurturing and feeding an audience like that continues to open, but in a very strategic way. Normally, I always say that the rule of thumb when it comes to data, wait 72 hours for the data to cement before you can actually really make a decision out of it. There was an element here, if you go scroll to the very top, Victoria, I just wanted to point something out to you. So this is a hack that we've done in a few different areas. If you notice that most people in the very top of their emails, they'll just put their logo and then they start creating multiple call to actions as they move down the email itself. One of the things that we've done is we'll create a bar at the top. So if you're familiar with pop-ups that happen on websites, and then a new type came out, which were these pop-up bars, I think is what they're called. They go to the very top, or you put them at the bottom. And so they're less intrusive. Now in email, obviously you can't do pop-up, but you still can add a bar at the top, and the bar at the top can read, download your free anxiety diagnostic, or take, download or take the diagnostic tool worth, $9.99, click here for free. And so what happens is you just don't waste time for people to guess what's down there before they get there, because they may only just open the top. We've done this, as I mentioned to you, with a client. We did what's called a language switcher. So we had a language problem because they communicate in two languages. And so we put it literally at the top in the opposite language. So if it's English, it would have the opposite language in the bar, and vice versa. So people can smoothly switch at the very top, because they're not going to go down to figure out if they can get it in another language, because they don't even know it's available. See, so the key thing is they don't know it's available. Now, although you have multiple call to actions, nothing wrong with that. Put your priority one at the top. And you mentioned to me that, well, why don't we put the download to the app? And that's where I think some testing will take place. Send out one email, download the app, send one email with the free diagnostic tool. Ultimately, is you want to be delivering value at the very top, right? If it's the first free session, download the app, that's value, put it at the top. Get the free diagnostic tool worth $9 or whatever it is, click here, that's value. So keep value high up as possible and the rest lower. It doesn't mean that one is better or worse, but people get fatigued, right? So the sooner you get at them at the top, the easier and quicker it'll be. Awesome. All right. What else can you tell us? Anything else interesting coming out of this?
Yeah, so really thanks so much for sharing. I think I'll try in the ongoing newsletters to see like which kind of call to action we can put on the top, and see if we get any signal. And
I think also one thing I want to also point out to you, since you have a 20% open rate within less than 24 hours, you have a potent audience waiting for you. It's like, the iron is hot, and strike while the iron is hot, and there's no right or wrong answer to this. But what I can tell you is that you need to create more frequency and more engagement so that your audience engages more with you, basically in a nutshell like that. But, email is a great way of keeping top of mind. And the more top of mind you are through frequency, the more people will not just download your app, but use your app. And eventually you want to be getting in your emails, getting people to refer other people. So you should create a consistent CTA. It could be at the bottom, in the middle, which is like, hey, do you know a friend in trouble, whether it be anxiety, depression, etc.? Click here and give them the free session. That's a different hack altogether. So you've got your book, write it down. And what I like here, okay, so Victoria's taken on two. She's actually kind of do two hacks in one. And she's gone deeper into hack number one, which is awesome because once you get that signal, things work, go with it. Awesome. I love it.
Great.
Awesome. So okay, so what's next, Victoria? What are you going to do next? I think in the next one we want to hear about your results after 72 hours, or I think it'll be more than that anyways, or it actually will be 72 hours. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and then at the same time, so now I'm working with therapists to creating this kind of the theme schedule for Instagram, and then the same for YouTube videos. So actually to have different topics covered. And then I was thinking we can start with like 2 different therapists during the week. And for example, on Tuesdays talking about positive psychology, and on Thursdays, any kind of issues people face. So then we build this kind of consistency and trustworthiness from users.
Perfect.
So
And use your email to notify people when those videos come out, so that you have, again, more consistency with your email. There are ways to automate that. So look into Zapier. Do you know what Zapier is? Have you used it? Familiar with it?
No,
Okay, so Zapier is it's an automation tool. It sits in the middle between different things. So you can go, it can go grab a YouTube video that's brand new, send it to your email system, and then you can send out an RSS feed notification straight into your email. Do you have a development team? You have your own developers?
not yet. So I'm working with agency at the moment.
Okay, so this is a good challenge to give them. Obviously you don't want to get stuck with a whole bunch of technicalities, but give them that challenge on your half. You can start with Zapier. It's pretty easy to do, but what it does is it automates the idea behind when a new video comes out on your channel. It sends an automatic RSS feed email without you having to think about it. And it's all pre-designed and automated, and it just fills in the information. And so that way, once you build that consistency, you don't need to go create a new email. It's just automated for you.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you very much. This is awesome. I love the speed that you're using. I love the fact that you're going deeper. This is what we want. And I love the fact that you identified the signal very early on and going with it. So for those tuning in, this is what you should be learning. You want to know more about the app itself, MindTales or Victoria, click below. Should be more than happy to take you on, right? Free session with a download, right? Check it out. Take it for a test run. So anything else before we move on?
No, I think that's it. Really appreciate being part of this experience.
Awesome.
And yeah, thanks so much for all the tips.
Awesome. No, we love having you on board. Victoria is very fast at getting stuff done. So I like that. This is a good sign. So guys, as we tune out, just as a reminder, if you want to do what we're doing here on the challenge, this is in the Growth Thinking book to copy what we're doing, and it teaches you everything you need to know. Keep tuned. This is hack number 2. We'll see you in the next video for hack number 3. See you, Victoria, in hack number 3.
See you.